welcome to another video. Today I am going to give you a couple of recommendations for books that, in my opinion, are quite easy to read in English. As a bilingual person, it does not matter whether your first language is German like mine, or Chinese, or whatever you want it to be, because these books are just quite easy to understand. They're written in a way that makes it easy for people whose first language may not be English to understand. At the same time, these books are not like children's books, which would be very easy to understand. I think all of these are young adult. Some of them are only examples for an entire subgenre or a type of book, so you can just take into consideration these books and then go from there. Without further ado, let's get started. And I just wanted to say that my credentials, by the way, for even recommending all these books to you is that I have started reading books in English, which is my third language, since I was, I think, like 10 or 11, and I have read quite a few books in English, and I still do, and yeah, so I think that gives me enough credit. So that's just a disclaimer right there for you. Okay, so first of all, I have Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi here. Tahereh Mafi, like, her books, I love her books, okay? If you haven't read her books, just go, like, okay, finish this video and then go. Run and read her books, okay? Because it doesn't matter what genre you like, you will love this, okay? Anyways, her writing is somehow at the same time so beautiful and lyrical, and like it transports you into like the book so much, but at the same time it's so easy to understand. Like, I feel like a lot of, especially YA authors, for some reason just tend to sprinkle in random words that, I don't know, they googled a like synonym for a normal word and then just wanted to seem more fancy, and then all of a sudden you're reading, I don't know, indigo for blue or something, when they could have just described something as blue. And she doesn't do this. Like, it's so easy to understand and at the same time so beautifully written. This just shows that you don't have to use a lot of fancy words to get a point across. Yeah, and sometimes it's even better if you don't. I read these books, I think, when I was like 12 or 13, so I wasn't that well versed in English. I still am not, as you can tell. Like, I don't even know what language I speak, but this was very easy to understand and the story is amazing, so just go ahead and read all of her books, okay, because they're that good. Next up, again, an author recommendation, because first of all, I cannot get enough of this author. Second, his writing is, again, not in the same way as Tahereh Mafi's, but like, I feel like completely opposite, but the same in their essence, if you get what I mean. And it is Riordan, and all of his books, all of them. If you want, like, I don't even know, should I even need, like, do I need to describe these books and this author? Everybody knows him, right? It's like, at this point, like, if you haven't read his books, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, just go again, finish this video and then go and read his books, because that is just like knowledge that you need to have, okay, to survive in this society nowadays. You just need to have read his books at least once. Okay, go ahead and read it. Like, his books are so easy to understand, and at the same time, like, they're not like simple, if you get what I mean. And this book, I have proof that I read this when I was way too young to understand anything about it, because if you can see here, I like the whole book, okay? I wanted to read this so much. It wasn't out in German yet, that's why I have the English copy, and I just needed the book, and I bought it and read it, and I had to Google every second word, as you can see. Like, I didn't know what joints were, I didn't know what gnarled was, I didn't know what disguised was. Like, I can't even imagine not knowing these things, and it's so cool that I bought this and wrote it down in the book, because now I can look back and just see how I've improved my English. So yeah, you can understand this. Some words, if you know disguised or joints, then you will definitely understand this book, because those are apparently the most out there and difficult words that are in this book, so you will be fine. Anyways, next up I have Tweet Cute by Emma Lord, which this one, I don't know if Emma Lord has written that many books. I think she's come out with one other last year or this year, I'm not sure. Anyways, this was so adorable. This is a romance, and it's a YA romance, so this is mostly for that genre or subgenre. This recommendation is basically just a stand-in for that subgenre, because I feel like most books in that subgenre are quite easy to read. They rarely use any difficult vocabulary. There are rarely any concepts that are very hard to grasp. Like, it's just very easy to read. It's not that, like, you don't have to concentrate that hard to read these, even if you are reading them in a language that might not be your native one. Yeah, so just anything in the subgenre, YA romance, anything YA really, but not necessarily everything. Maybe like contemporary things, but even those can be a little bit hard. For example, The Hate U Give, that I feel like wouldn't be the perfect thing to read as a beginner bilingual reader, or like books that have very heavy set fantasy worlds within them. I wouldn't necessarily recommend those, even though they might be YA, because those usually have a lot of description going on and a lot of world building and stuff like that, and that can be a little bit hard to wrap your head around when you're having to concentrate on reading a book in another language. So yeah, just YA romance is like the perfect in-between subgenre where you don't have very like a lot of world building going on. You usually don't have that much description, and the description that is there usually is like, it doesn't last pages upon pages. It's mostly the characters and what they do and stuff like that. So yeah, very good introductory genre. Okay, next up I have Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is the first, and this is again a stand-in for not a genre but a type of book, which is just graphic novels or comics in general. Like, I feel like that's very easily understandable because most things are pictures in here. There is not that much text. You will get the story like very easily, even if you only know like very beginner level English, you will definitely get this. And most graphic novels at that. Like, again, maybe don't start with like graphic novels that are set in a completely different world and that are marketed towards adults. For example, I think they're called Saga, and there are quite a lot of them, I think. Like, I don't know how many, I've never read them. I've heard a lot about them and I've seen them on BookTube. But yeah, maybe don't start with that because I feel like there would be a lot of description even though you have the pictures already, but like names for different species or something like that, and then you can get confused more easily because you don't know names for that the author just came up with, and then names for just things in general, and you could get like things mixed up, and we don't want that. So I think people can, like, you can quite easily look for yourself and just see what you think you can understand. Like graphic novels and comics and manga, all these things I think are pretty easy to understand as a beginner bilingual. And there are, like, I feel like 10 years ago there were not that many like graphic novels out there at all, and nowadays there are so many. Like, you have so much to choose from, these are so quick. Like, you just fly through these because obviously there's not that much text, which is on one hand like quite a shame because I loved this book. I loved the second one, I loved the third one. I don't think I've read the fourth one yet. Anyways, we're getting off topic. There are so many cute and like interesting graphic novels out there. There's even the Percy Jackson books, which are by Riordan. They have been made into graphic novels. I don't think his like spin-off series, like the Heroes of Olympus, the series, and then the Kane Chronicles and stuff like that, I don't think they have been made into graphic novels, but the 5 original Percy Jackson books have definitely been made into graphic novels. I do want to buy those, haven't made it yet, but for example, you could read those. Okay, then next up we have They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This book, as you can see, took me on quite a ride. Wow. Anyways, this is just a like recommendation for this book. This is not a stand-in for any genre or type of book. Just this is like, it is YA, it is marketed as YA, but I feel like even people who really don't read YA could read this. Like, not younger people, but older people definitely. This does read like YA, but it's just the topics, the story is so interesting. It's an amazing concept that I think everybody should have read once at least in their life, but at the same time just quite easy to grasp. Even if you don't understand every single word, you can either Google them like I did, or you can just get things from out of the context. So yeah, read this. Then, last but not least, we have The Chaos of Stars by Kirsten White. Really, most of the books by Kirsten White, I have not read all of her books, but all of them that I have read, for example, the Guinevere Deception trilogy, there are 2 out of 3 are out. The 3rd one, I think, comes out sometime later this year. But her books are, like, most of them are quite skinny, and they are very easy to understand. Like, there's not, she does discuss some, like, not heavy themes, but like important topics, but she keeps it light. Like, there's not any difficult sentences, there's not any like weird constructions in the sentences. It's very easy and straightforward, so I can only recommend this.